across the media and everywhere around, they're getting torched and blasted, and it makes you really frustrated some days when phones ringing like crazy for the good people that really need your help, than the 1% of the thugs and bad people out there that are just trying to make life rough on everybody. Thought about that this morning, how a lot of these rallies and things that's going on, like, I mean, they don't work. Obviously, they don't work.
Well, they're getting paid to do it. Some of them are.
They don't work, so they're just getting a handout given to them to go destroy stuff to make other people work 10 times as hard. And I hope the common person sees that issue. You know, do you want your kids out destroying and vandalizing property that people have basically took their life savings and their family and built a business on, that they're just destroying and tearing apart, and people are coaching them on? I don't know. We went wrong in this world of raising our kids and raising people. Respect has gone out the window, and the morals have gone out the window. In a lot of these places, I'm not saying like right here, we're still blessed right here, but there is some of that here, believe me.
Right.
Or either it'll come in from somewhere else and come here, and that's the agenda of what's taking place right now. It's these rioters and thugs that are going into areas like that.
Right. Well, speaking of that, in our area, we're going to have the No Kings rally tomorrow in Scottsboro from 4 to 6, and there's going to be one in Fort Payne tomorrow from 11 to 2.
Ridiculous.
So, you know, they're talking about they're going to be peaceful, but they've talked about that out in California, and some of that hasn't been peaceful.
Right.
I mean, you can't call peaceful when you're burning people's cars and looting their business. Well, what part of that's peaceful?
None of that is, and then I hope it's peaceful. Pray that it's peaceful. There's nothing wrong with peaceful. It's your right.
It is, and you know, and it's your right, but stay off the roads.
I was going to say,
stay on the
it's
sidewalks.
your right, but don't get out on the road. Don't block traffic.
Yeah.
Don't tear up stuff, or you'll suffer the consequences of it.
Yes.
That's what gets me. Is you look out there and it breaks your heart. Throwing blocks and rocks and burning stuff down and protesting. I mean, if you love your country that much, I mean, load up and roll and go, get back there. If that's the issue with it, if you don't like our rules. I seen a big, massive sign. I was over in Atlanta yesterday, and there was a sign over there, and I'd also seen one last week over near Florence, and it was a big advertising sign for a lawyer. Believe it or not, there's a bunch of them on the road. I don't know if you've seen them or not, but it's a big sign, and it says, illegals have rights, call us. Well, I just read that sentence on that sign right there. It said, illegals have rights, call us. I'm not sure exactly what that sign means, to be honest with you. You know,
Yes,
because
sir.
if you're illegal, you don't have the rights that legal citizens have, first of all.
Right.
So they'll pull together and do these, and we've been called a bunch. You know, hey, they're going to come over here and perform these different rights, and that's some of their agenda right there. And I'm all fine with it, but you know, don't get in the road. Don't get in the road. Don't start anything, because we have a jail that holds a lot of people,
Yeah.
and we'll be glad to put them there. And that garbage is nonsense with the burning, you know, police cars and throwing rocks and some handmade, I don't know what they're called, at the law enforcement as they're in line, holding the line to keep them back. That will get you shot and killed over here.
Right.
That will get you shot and killed in the hair if you start throwing rocks and sticks, or to get you run over. Blocking the road, not letting people through there. There's good people out here that have to go to work, to have emergencies. You know, they don't have time for some garbage blocking the road, protesting like that.
Well, you know, like
don't
you
get
say,
in the road.
it's fine to protest. I mean, that's your right to protest. But protest, if you're going to do it peacefully, then stay up on the sidewalks or wherever you're supposed to be. Don't do that, because if you do get in the road and block it, somebody having a heart attack, needs to get to the hospital.
Exactly.
Well, you've delayed that. Somebody's house is on fire. We've had a wreck somewhere. Law enforcement and first responders are trying to get through. I mean, you got to think that's somebody else's life that you're putting on the line there. I mean, you know, your protest is good, and that's good for you to do. But don't do it at somebody else's expense to cause them they might die because 3 minutes, you know, or however minutes they didn't get there because of that. And so just remember, when you go out and protest, remember other people you know, it affects them too when you want to do that. It's not just, you know, they want to get their point across, but then they might kill some innocent people getting their point across.
Yeah. Well, and normally those cars going down the road are going to a workplace, a
Yes.
job or something like that, or these other yahoos are not. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm totally against that, but I have never known of a peaceful protest, ever. And think about that. What I mean by peaceful is 100% abiding by the law and 100% abiding by the protest law. They get out in the road. They get out on the edge of the road. You end up having to, you know, burn up emergency personnel to come help at the road to make sure they don't get run over, because they just keep pushing the fine limit of what's legal. And that's the reason they're protesting in the first place. They're pushing the limit of what they believe is not legal. So that's why I say that I haven't seen the last one I had here in Fort Payne. Went through there and they was lined up, you know, down the side of the road protesting, which is fine what they're supposed to do. Get top of the hill in traffic without a just boom, stop, completely stop, because one of them was out in the road laying down on their face. I remember seeing that, laying down on their face. And there's cars coming over the hill, and I thought, well, you know, if you get run over, we're just going to work a pedestrian strike wreck on it and move on about our business. You know better than that. But what we face with here and what people need to understand is if you'll look at these ones coming to protest or starting to protest, they're not from here. They're not from here. They might drag in one or two from here to be participating with them, but they're not from here, so they'll come in here from somewhere else and try to really start something, start some drama or whatever, because they don't have a job to go work. They don't have something to go do. They're getting paid to do this. That's what it boils right down to. So that gets my blood boiling. It gets my blood boiling this morning when you look and you see what's taking place across the country. And they say it's always like a wave. It comes from the west to the east. Things in California come this way. And it's absolutely true. With drugs and everything, that's the way it goes. And that's kind of what's taking place here. The wave is coming across. But before that wave, gets here to DeKalb County, it needs to realize it's going to hit a dam, because we're not going to put up with that kind of nonsense garbage that they do out there.
Yeah. Well, if people are out and about tomorrow, they're having this protest. There's going to be one in Huntsville from 11 to 1, Scottsboro, and then, Gunnersville, Jacksonville, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Auburn, Selma, Montgomery, Dothan, and Mobile. So just be careful if you're going out to just know, to be vigilant and know that this is going on, and, which is fine for it to go on, but, you just got to be careful when you go, because our world has changed of what it used to be several years ago. So,
And I hate to refer to that, but we just got through working a terrible murder case. Where somebody that wasn't from here shot and killed somebody that was from here. That's how this world has changed. A road rage turned into a murder. So that's how it is out there. It's dangerous, and you never know what you're going to run across. So it makes it hard on us to work, and do what we're supposed to do and enforce the law for all the people out there that are totally against it. Then the ones trying to sue and all that thing. Then stuff like this comes in, and you don't really honestly know how to prepare for it, because you don't know how it's going to go.
Right.
You don't know if it's going to go somewhat peacefully, or if it's going to be just a bunch of idiots out there. You don't know. So we try to prepare for every side of it. And I didn't try to sound just totally harsh earlier, but to me, that's a bunch of nonsense. They're wasting a bunch of time and a bunch of tax dollars, money, by getting out here and pulling all these resources just to get out here and scream and yell and stick a sign up because they don't believe in the law. That's all that is they don't believe in what's taking place. Well, it's the law. I mean, if you don't like it, move. Get out of here. You ain't got to be here. I promise you, we're not begging for you to be here. I promise you that much.
So, well, let's switch gears. And
yeah, we better do that. But